Hello, I'm Todd Souza, and in this video, I'm going to share my backstory with you that motivated me to creating a YouTube channel. I hope you enjoy my journey. Now, what time is it? I shared my NDE experience in Hawaii, my recovery, and my therapy to getting back to riding. At the end, you saw me finishing round 3 of the Grand Prix. The following weekends, we rode E Street over to Diablo, then back again to MMX. This is Rob here on his Kawasaki 450. We have Ray on his Husqvarna 450 and Nick on his Yamaha 250F. We're back at MMX. I'm on my 3rd session out. You can see here I'm taking my time. I'm trying not to get in this guy's way. I see the opportunity. I give it throttle. I go off the jump to get out of his way. I go around the berm. I notice this guy to my left. I thought we can go at the jump at the same time, not anticipating he's going to cross my line in mid-air. What are your thoughts? Leave them in the comment section below. Whether you think it was okay for him to go off and cross my line. Do you think it was wrong of me to go off at the same time? Was the track layout inappropriate? I know this happens all the time. As I landed, I was dazed and confused, of course. I knew I was injured, I just didn't know how bad, but I knew I couldn't stand on my left leg. They took me to my truck in a buggy. I changed my gears back into my clothes, and then I proceeded to drive myself home. I got home, unloaded my motorcycle, and then I waited till the next morning to go to the ER. Upon going to the hospital, they discovered I had a fractured toe, fractured ankle, ACL, and a rib that was also out of place. I asked the nurse how was my rib going to be put back in place. She basically just turned around and walked off. Well, later that day I was on the couch and I sneezed and my rib popped back in place. It was the most excruciating pain I have ever felt. I had to hold my breath until the pain receded. Fortunately for me, no surgery or pins were needed, just bone fractures that would heal on its own. I used crutches for 3 months, relying on them to pick myself up with one leg, balancing, then going from point A to point B. It was so tiresome. My foot would swell up, causing discomfort, so I complained and they removed the hard cast after a couple weeks of suffering. Instead, they gave me a walking boot. I have to say this was a much better fit for me, especially when it comes to showering and sleeping. I was off the crutches and starting to walk, but with a slight limp. Surgery was on the 15th of January, so I went to the hospital in the morning and I was released after the vomiting stopped later that afternoon. Came home and rested on the couch with no major pain meds, only Tylenol when needed. They gave me this cooling device to wrap around my knee. You basically add water and ice. The water circulates through the bandage wrap. I was once again back on the crutches for another 2 months. My initial visit to the surgeon and physical therapist was scheduled a couple weeks later after surgery. They had me doing exercises immediately. My leg had totally shrunk in size and was in atrophy. The worst part about taking a shower was getting in and out of the part. First I had to wrap my knee in a garbage bag. I then used my crutches to get over the tub. The moment we've all been waiting for. What motivated me to coming up with a YouTube channel? I was sitting around watching YouTube videos. I was inspired to share locations I've been to over the last 40 years. I didn't know anything about making a channel, telling a story, shooting video, a GoPro and its settings. I had to come up with a format. Basically, what's my channel going to be about, right? What am I going to call it? Each day, I taught myself about the camera equipment I needed, what microphones, did I need extra batteries, and editing software. I had no idea about editing either. There was so much to do before my first shoot. May 15th, my wife and I decided this was the day I will start my first location. We were driving down the freeway heading east. We were approaching the turnoff, and in one moment I decided Prairie City would be my first location.
We just go to Prairie City.
In this video, I'm on location at Prairie City, and why don't you subscribe? Why don't you subscribe? Whew. I got distracted by the cars going by. The staging area, all right, turned off. Couldn't see myself anymore. Got a fan. I literally got out of my car, grabbed my microphones, walked over to this ranger. Fortunate for me that she was there that day, and I just started interviewing her. I have my own YouTube channel. It's called It's Time to Ride with Todd Souza.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
Nice.
And
I'm Jolene, interpreter here at Prairie City SVRA.
This is Andreas. He was on crutches at the time. We brought out a chair in some vacant field, not even Prairie City, to do the interview. I ended up borrowing his video of the going around the track because my doctor wouldn't allow me to go on a dirt bike, so we just used his video instead. I then went over to the kids track. I saw this family. I approached the father. I asked him if I could interview his kids. He said yes. Knowing that Prairie City is a family environment, I wanted the whole family to participate, and I put this together, and upon editing I knew I had to include this in every video.
What time is it? It's time to ride!
Why don't you subscribe? Why don't you subscribe? Whew.
Yeah!